We're back with Nickel and Dime this week. It is week 8, probably about the midway point. We can start seeing what teams are for real, what teams are not. But here's the great thing, all of them are like 500. So what does it matter? They're all the same. So we're about to see which team's going to take off in this race to win their division, who's going to win these wild cards. We got your recaps, we got your housekeeping notes. 3 and out as always. Suds got some shout outs, pick our matchups, and of course our locks, where I'm trying to gain some ground. Went 2-0 this week, so I'm getting there. Hit that subscribe button. It's Nickel and Dime. Shawn, week 8. This used to be the halfway point. Now we got an extra game or two.
Yeah.
So buys, some teams are starting to get their buys. That's going to come into play. And then just overall, I know we come on to the show every week and we say, look at all these upsets. But are they really upsets if they happen week after week after week?
Yeah. We've gone, Drew, we've gone from mediocrity, the last couple weeks to ineptitude to a lot of the teams. It's been a slow burn. It's been a very, very slow burn, except for the fans of the teams who actually are losing, myself included. It's a very slow burn.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks.
Is it weird that I was pulling for y'all on Sunday? Like, I didn't want that win. Like, it's nice to beat the Bucks as a Panther fan, but I don't want 2 wins. The Lions lost. They got the number 1 pick now.
Oh yeah, I know y'all. Y'all are definitely tracking that. What I don't want, or what is interesting to me, is the Panthers fans who have convinced themselves that y'all are now all the way back in it. Now I know the numbers suggest that if you beat the Falcons on Sunday, that you might be in first place or a tie for first place or whatever.
That's but
that's in week 8, we still have a lot to go. We'll talk about it, but
this isn't what we're trying to do, Panthers Nation. We're not trying to win.
Basically.
All right, let's get into this recap. Starting off with Thursday night. We actually had a good game for a change. That's nice. Some points on the board. It wasn't a field goal battle. But the Cardinals best the Saints 42-34 behind 2 pick sixes thrown by the Saints. Andy Dalton.
Yeah, Andy Dalton had a Jameis game. Andy Dalton had a Jameis game.
This is his Jameis
Yes,
game?
he did. Right. It was peak Jameis because he threw 3 touchdowns, 3 or 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But
he bounced it out.
2-3 picks. Yeah, right, exactly. So he gives you with the good, with the bad. So I wonder, honestly, Drew, they got to pick a quarterback going forward.
They have to pick a quarterback, and I'm pretty sure after that game that they got to be leaning towards Jameis, right? At least give him the chance to mess it up.
Sure. Yeah, maybe. And you hate to see a seesaw at that position if you're a Saints fan. But listen, they got to figure it out, especially going into next year where you may lose even some more pieces, man. But
stay tuned for 3 and out, because I got a question for you about the now all of a sudden we got 2 quarterbacks per team.
Yeah, a lot of teams should have 2 quarterbacks considering how bad some of these quarterbacks are playing.
Yeah. Bengals beat the Falcons by doubling them up pretty much. Burrow, 481 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that's when he put on the brakes. My man had like 450 in like the third quarter.
Yeah. The Drew, the Falcons, they couldn't keep up. Like, they couldn't keep up with the type of offense that the Bengals were able to put on a weekly basis. Yes. Yeah. And God bless them. They tried, and Mariota didn't have like a horrible game, but like that's what the Bengals are able to do. Burrow, honestly, Drew, he narrowly missed having 3 wide receivers over 100 yards.
Yeah. These are those games where having a game manager bites you. These are the games where the Falcons were cruising with Mariota being a game manager, running the ball, playing defense. These are the games where you need your quarterback to throw for 481 yards and 3
Yep.
touchdowns, and game
Yep.
managers can't do that.
They can't. They can't. And these, Drew, these are the type of games that you're going to see in the playoffs against the best teams, more than likely. You know what I mean?
More
You
than
need the
I mean,
best
who's
team.
gonna make the
Right.
playoffs at this point? You know
Well,
what I mean?
that's it's very true point, man. Very true point. But both teams, we say that we sounds like we say this every week, but both teams needed more from the run game. Like the Bengals, clearly they can do it through the air, but they have a guy in Joe Mixon who just isn't doing what he did last year when they got to the Super Bowl, basically.
Poor guy. I hate it for the run game, man, because obviously they still don't have a top notch offensive line. Burrow's still running
Yeah.
for his life, but he's able to turn that into a lot of yards and passing. Like I feel like he turns into Bane, where he's like talking to Mixon, like, "Oh, you adopted this O line. I was merely born into it."
Drew, that's exact. You literally made the point for me because I'm sorry, but if you train in something and getting your ass kicked by your offensive line all the time, eventually you will get past it to the point where it doesn't matter. And
He's living with it.
he's mastered the art of having a bad O line and a great wide receiver core.
Yeah, and he doubled up Mixon's average yards per average carry. Mixon 3.4 yards per carry. Burrow
Yeah.
came in, ran 3 times for 20 yards with that old 6.7 average.
Ooh. Look, I mean, nice to pad the stats. I guess one last point before we move on, Drew, and I think you can soundly double me on this one, but trade Kyle Pitts, please. Trade him.
And at this point, Drake London.
Yeah,
Get them both to decent teams, man. Like, do the humane thing that the Panthers just did to CMC. Let him go.
And they're not even old.
If you're gonna run the ball, man, don't have 2 prime receiving targets. I don't get it, man. It's like all those great receivers like Waller and Johnson came from Georgia Tech when they ran like the triple option.
Yeah.
Like I still don't, that blows my mind.
Why would you even sign on for that unless it was your only offer?
Right.
Know what they do down in Georgia Tech.
Yes. Cowboys beat the Lions. I know we were both hoping for the option, but it was Dak's return, the emotional high. Zeke played great.
Yeah, I mean, they getting more involved. Jerry said they was going to do that, so maybe this is
Jerry.
Maybe he was due.
Can he just be the coach? Why isn't he the coach, man? Just be the coach.
I mean,
we don't talk about the coach. We talk about Jerry Jones. So he just needs to be the coach.
That's true, but I will say that you don't become a billionaire without making some smart decisions. You know what I'm saying? So there might be too many irons in the fire. He's done amassed this fortune doing all he does, being the general manager. So maybe he knows when less is more, I guess.
I truly believe he has a head coach in Dallas to be a fall guy.
That billionaire decision.
Yeah.
Billionaire decision, thinking about it.
But Prescott comes back 19 for 25, 207 yards and a touchdown. Mm-hmm. Pollard with the 83 rushing yards. Elliott got the touchdowns, but Pollard got the yards. Averaging just a shade under 7 yards per carry. So again,
that boy nice.
Don't want to beat a dead horse. Pollard gets the job done.
That boy is nice. Drew, Jared Goff down bad, man.
Is this the last we're seeing of Jared Goff?
I mean, who's the backup there? You know what I mean? He just hasn't been playing like he was. Now I will say he threw 2 picks. Right, he threw 2 picks and no touchdowns to complement that, a la Andy Dalton, a la Jameis Winston. Who are you? But this touted offensive line, Drew, let up 5 sacks. So you get a little gun shy after that kind of abuse from a Dallas team who has been largely wrecking the league, Dallas defense.
You think they held Swift out an extra week just so he didn't get beat up?
Could be the way them boys been playing.
Because St. Brown he went out early with the concussion.
Early, yeah.
And I mean, that's their squad,
It is.
But to answer your earlier question, Nate Sudfeld is their backup.
Play golf.
Philly Nate Sudfeld.
Yeah.
Titans take control of the AFC South. just not only beat the Colts, maybe ended Matt Ryan's career.
Man, listen, Matt Ryan was bad, man. And check this out, Drew. Matt Ryan was bad. Jonathan Taylor only had 10 attempts,
That's
which
not
is the
good.
problem.
You can't
Which
do
is the
that.
problem. But guess what? He had 5.8 yards per carry. So
Keep feeding
I
him.
don't I don't know why you don't put more on that man when he that's what he's there for. And he looked shifty. And like you get to the end of the game, you're like, damn, he only had 10 attempts. How did we, and
They
it
were.
wasn't like the game was out of
I was
hand.
about to
You know
say the
what I mean?
game was close the entire time.
Yeah, it wasn't like the game was out of hand. So I don't know. That's coaching.
I just don't know how you like. I why the sudden change now? Like Matt Ryan, 33 for 44, 243 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. That's pretty status quo for quarterbacks right now.
Yeah. That's the floor. That it
Yeah.
seems like that or it could be. You know what I'm saying? Like there are a couple quarterbacks out there who are throwing way less picks. Matt
Yeah,
Ryan
that's
definitely is a
very
guy on the
understood. He
on
is
on the
he is
higher
leading
side.
the league in interceptions. I will give you
Right,
that.
but some of that is on him, and I think it's a little bit of it's been window dressing with this offensive line though. I feel like they've been getting good grades, but they've been spotty in times too. And then the other 50% of that obviously is Matt Ryan just making bad decisions.
Yeah. Uh, Packers lose again, lose to Heineke and Washington.
Oh man,
You
yeah,
pick you pick, I mean you
I was
said one of them
excited.
was gonna fall. You said the
Yeah, I was
Pack or
excited.
Dallas was gonna lose, and sure enough, it ended up being Green Bay.
Yeah, man. Drew, it was crazy, but I mean, I'm sure you probably saw this too. At one point, I saw the replay, and in the third quarter, Rodgers was 11 for 17 for 61 yards and one touchdown in the third quarter. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of twilight zone are we living in?
And he ended up under 200 yards, 194, 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
I just what are they? My thing is, and we'll talk about it coming up in housekeeping. We're starting to see a couple of the trade domino pieces fall. Little tiny little trades for sixth and seventh round picks that are going to end up
Yeah.
paying dividends to these playoff
For some
teams.
teams, yeah. Yeah.
When do you pull the trigger if you're Green Bay and go out and get one of these receivers? You got to, right? You have to.
I definitely think so, but I think also some of the GMs may be a little gun shy because using Green Bay as an example, is a receiver going to put you over the top with as many problems as they're having right now? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Do you want to give up that capital? What you may need to give up higher capital? And that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think the closer we get to the trade deadline, the picks will start coming up
Oh,
from
no doubt.
six and
No doubt.
to seconds and thirds, maybe even a first? But you know, if the problems are more than just a piece away, I don't know if I'm giving up that because I mean, you and I both know how what much those picks mean come March, April, and May. You know what I
Coming up,
mean?
May way
Ultimately,
more
May.
important than veteran players. It seems like that's the
Right.
message. It seems like the league's sending out
Yeah.
right now is we'd rather have draft capital than a proven player.
Yeah. I would almost maybe want to see the trade deadline move back a little bit to give, just
Desperate teams, more desperation.
right. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like let's move it back, do a little bit more research, you know what I'm saying? But then bring those people in. But yeah, and also like what if they put in like a little window where like they give it an extra 2 weeks, but if you trade for anybody within those 2 weeks, you got to give up a third or better. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, like raise it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they have set
Call
points.
that a desperation tax.
I like
You
that
know?
because they have a set figure amount for like the franchise tag and things like that.
Yeah.
Like I definitely think they could come up with a system that even you put in a player and they're like, that'll be a second round pick.
Right. Yeah. Just
Like
that
maybe
that
the
level.
league evaluates that, like a little 2 week window right before the playoffs, and the league
Yeah.
gets to determine what those players are worth. That
Yeah.
might
You
be,
you say yes or no and sign off, and it happens.
yeah. I think a big talking about the Packers, a big problem too is Aaron Jones 23 rushing yards, AJ Dillon 15 rushing yards, and
Man,
again a
listen.
game that was not out of hand. Why the few rushing yards?
Drew, you hit the nail right on the head. I just don't know how this Green Bay rush is that ineffective. I don't know because those guys can do it. And then end of the game, 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, you see what Aaron Jones could do on the wheel route, going up over Cameron Curl. You know what I mean? To,
Yeah.
to, to catch that pass for a TD.
He had the 2 touchdown catches. Like that,
That's
what?
the kind of ability that guy has. So clearly he can do it. I don't know what's going on with AJ Dillon though, man. I don't know.
He averaged more per carry than
Did he?
Jones. Yeah.
Okay.
He had 4 attempts all game.
At that point, Drew, do you have to put it on coaching or head coach or offensive coordinator?
I think if you were to ask me who out of everyone in the NFL should be freaking out the most right now, I think it's LaFleur. Like you're Mr. Offense. You got the
Right.
best quarterback in the league, and you can't get him over 200 yards a game.
Yep. And your brother outshining you right now with a worse franchise. I don't know.
Ish.
You know what I'm
On
saying?
the rise.
Yeah.
Franchise on the rise.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, it's I'm the next few weeks for the and then now they go get beat up by Buffalo, so it's not going to get better for them.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, we got to talk about it. It's our 2 teams. I think we both collectively wanted a different outcome on Sunday, but the Panthers shocked the Bucks. PJ Walker 16 for 22 for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. Admirable, not savior like, but admirable against
and that's what it took.
A Bucks defense. So
yeah.
I'll take those numbers against that defense,
even
if they are taking the year off.
Bro, yes. Yeah, them boys, they look, Drew, they look like a shell of themselves. Like that. I mean, be honest, like you watch the game, did they look like a team that should be feared right now at all?
There was a couple of times I had to check to see if your players were in. I had to look at the injury report and I was like, is their linebackers hurt?
Yeah. No plays. Devin White was
I'm usually cussing out your linebackers during the game, and I was like, all right, maybe they're playing.
Yeah, this is what they want to do. Fine. And Deontay Foreman showed you what he did yesterday was worth the pick. We told you that this was going to happen.
What he showed yesterday made it okay for us to get those picks for CMC.
And as much as I talk crap to my cousin, just a second ago, the whole time we was at the stadium, this dude was obnoxious about getting Deontay Foreman the ball, and then
he does great things.
People started looking around like, damn, who is this dude? How he know to do? You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, yes, like, yes, get that man the ball. 100 plus yards. He ran all over Devin White. And some people were hurt. We had some rookies in there, but at no point the offensive line is bad. They were switching out offensive line. They put Nick Leverett in and got better. Drew, this is a team who don't deserve. They might be the worst team in football. With
the all-star squad y'all got too.
Exactly. 3 points.
Y'all are the Monstars, and Space Jam's just now starting the Toon Squad.
And then they shrank. Yeah. And then they shrank back down. This is they definitely the worst team in football. They got a lot. They need a lot.
That's fair. Shout out to Chuba too, who did just as well as Foreman and maybe more consistently, just didn't have as many touches. So it was great.
Yeah.
So good run game around for the Panthers. We always, we're best when we had the 2 running backs just battling out, thunder and lightning, those Williams and Stewart years, double trouble. So
Brady got outplayed by PJ Walker. That's the headline.
That's the headline. That is the headline. And Panthers fans, I love you. You're my people. Just be careful how excited you get. All right. We've done this before. We've been doing this. A quarterback comes in, gives us a good game, and then we lose 4 straight. All right, so pump the brakes. Get excited about the core, the young core we got. Burns looked exceptional. Looked like why we weren't trading him for nothing.
Shout to the Panthers. Getting her done.
So keep building, boys. Keep building. And talk about building giants. 6-1. Beat Lawrence and the Jaguars.
Yeah.
The Giants as a team, 236 rushing yards, and Daniel Jones had 107 of those.
he pulls that out like he can do that, and he pulls it out every time, like when he needs to. But he
Yeah.
doesn't go to it as his trump card. I mean, he's very managing, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to utilizing his legs.
He's a game manager that can
Right.
run if he has to. It's great.
Exactly. And they needed it. Like, however you get a win, nobody cares.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
all they care
Largely, if
about
you,
is the
as
win.
long as you exactly.
All
So I
people
can't
care
blame him at
about
all.
right now is Giants 6-1.
Yep. Way in the playoff hunt. They way in the playoff hunt.
Can you imagine if the NFC East gets 3 teams in this year?
Man, it would basically flip all of the predictions upside down.
Yeah.
You know, it
Everyone
would have
hated on
to.
him for so long, man. I love
The
it.
whole
I
East
love it.
except the Eagles. Yeah.
Uh Ravens hold on, drop the Browns to 2-5. Nothing too big there.
Now,
Jacoby Brissett struggling like we thought they would without.
yeah.
The
Continued
question is,
struggles.
can Watson turn this around when he comes back? I'm not quite sure.
I I would pump the brakes on that. I think like a lot of their problems, especially these last couple of weeks, have been Brissett though. And I think didn't Njoku get hurt?
Yeah,
And
that dreaded
he's
high
been
ankle sprain.
yeah. So I would hope that Deshaun Watson would see how they're actually using Njoku. They still need a receiver. Getting the rush game back involved, man. I mean, I think they can still be a dangerous team. I mean, but 11 games is way too late in the season for a turnaround from 2-5, and I mean that's
Depending
four
on what they're
games
gonna
left
do,
before he get
slide.
four
Yeah,
games left. Yeah,
yeah. Jets absolutely upset Rippon's season debut for the Broncos, but get the win. They're now 5-2 and in second place in that AFC East with a firm grip on a wild card spot right now.
man, them Jets,
Jets.
man. Hall was it sucks that Hall
That's
was done.
breaking my
Yeah,
heart.
yeah,
Hey,
4 for 72 and a touchdown, and then goes out for the season.
help is on the way though. Stay tuned for housekeeping notes. Jets
Yeah.
making moves in that department.
And I guess another note, Drew, you can probably speak to this, but the wide receivers issues in the pass game, it didn't hurt the Jets this game, but for where they're going, I feel like it could be a problem in the future.
I think they need to lock in on who their playmakers are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like I know we get on some quarterbacks too often because they seek that one person out, like all those Matt Stafford Detroit years where he just wouldn't look at anybody else but Megatron on his
Yeah,
team. I think we're having the opposite here in New York where Zach Wilson doesn't have that favorite target. So I think someone needs to step up and be like, I'm going to be the person that gets consistently open for you. I
yeah,
was really hoping it was going to be Wilson. Wilson looked like that early on,
yeah, yeah.
but
He
it looked
did.
like he had more of a connection with Flacco than than Wilson. So we'll see.
It's that chemistry is a crazy thing, man. It really is.
Because Barrios pops up every now and then, he goes away, and then of
Right.
course Corey Davis just likes to disappear for
For
games at a
large
time.
stretches. Yep.
Yeah. Man, we got to talk about it just because the numbers this guy put up. Josh Jacobs puts the Raiders on his back against the Texans, 143 yards and three
Yep.
touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah. I was listen, I mean, the Raiders offense should be Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams and everybody else. Like Derek Carr didn't have to do too much. And I guess just an early shout out, but gotta shout out the coach, man. I gotta shout out the coach for finally just leaning in
Be who you are,
to
bro.
what they need to do to win, you
Yeah.
know?
I am a Mac Hollins fan. I do like what he's doing there.
Yeah.
Nice little third option for him behind Renfro and Davis. Or Adams,
Yeah.
I mean.
I think he was in for a certain period of time. I think like the first 3 weeks, he was one of the best fantasy wide receivers
Yeah,
out there.
he's put up
Yeah.
numbers, man. He had another
Yeah.
touchdown this past week.
Hey, sneaky good.
Yeah. Gino takes care of her bear. Gino and the Seahawks beat the Chargers in one of the more surprising games on the Sunday slate.
Yeah, yeah. Man, Kenneth Walker is literally doing everything that everybody knew he could do and exactly what he is capable of.
How many
He
people
went
dropped
off.
him though?
I would hope not. Like he
So
should have
many,
been
a
in.
lot of people dropped. I was reading on an article today about how a lot of people drafted him. He didn't do anything. They dropped him, and now
Yeah,
whoever picked him up on the waiver wire is just reaping them benefits.
reaping the benefits. Hell yeah, and well, also shout to the people who held on to him through all that. But I mean, also Pete Carroll for being loyal enough to give Rashad Penny the full go before he got
He
injured, and
did.
then now
He
it's Ken
did.
now it's Ken Walker time.
And
So
he'll
Rashad Penny
never
might be
get
on the
the
trade
job
block.
again.
Nope, he might be on the trade block.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, what did Drew? What is it about the Chargers and not living up to expectations, regardless of why it is, regardless of circumstance? Why is it that the Chargers cannot live up to expectations?
The injury curse again, man. Like they got so many more injuries again. Every time they seem like they're putting it together, 3 key players go out.
For
Because
large stretches.
Herbert 33 for 51, 293 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Not
Yeah.
terrible. Eckler 31 yards and a touchdown though.
Yeah. And I felt like he didn't have a lot of yardage production in either, I'm saying, rushing or passing, but he had key plays and then he scored. So it's like, well, what's missing here?
Why do
Kenneth
all these
Ken Murray had a pick, like
Yeah. Why do all these teams keep picking up Sony Michel and then not giving him any cares?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I guess it's just to have a body in there because nobody's using them. Nobody
Nobody's
at all.
using running backs, period, this year, I feel like, except for your Seahawks or your Ravens, or that's about it.
It's almost like fantasy where you just pick somebody up to stash them because you don't want anybody else to
man.
have them.
Yeah, it sucks.
Except it's real life.
I could not pick up running backs to save my life. Chiefs spoil CMC's San Francisco debut. Take care of business in the Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah, and I feel like if it was a Super Bowl rematch this year, it would have been the same result. So 3 TDs, 400 plus yards, 2 wide receivers over 100 yards. This is what everybody envisioned this Kansas City offense looking like when they brought those 2 free agents in.
I was about to say, welcome to the party, Shushu and Valdez-Scantling.
Yeah.
Now, and Hardman looked all right.
Yeah, this is all I'm saying. They were the Kansas City offense was all the way back. Not the run game though.
Well, I was about to say, how you feel about Pacheco taking the bulk of the carries?
I mean, it was his first game, so maybe like starting anyway. You know what I mean? And like maybe you just have to. You never know if somebody's just better off the bench. Like if you're a spell guy and that's how you thrive, then that's what you need to do. But first game as a starter, I believe. So you would think that it would get better next week, but kind of a poor overall showing from him.
He averaged 5.4 yards per carry.
Not bad.
Edwards-Helaire 5.3.
Yeah. So maybe that was just a game plan, though. You know what I'm saying? Not to rush it.
I mean, if you got Patrick Mahomes,
you can do that.
Yeah. Oh, Tua came back, sparked the Dolphins win, beat the Steelers.
Yeah, he did. I mean, that's what you should do if you're a semi-good team. You should beat the Steelers. And
that team just works.
That
team just Tua and Waddle and Hill and now Mostert.
I think Waddle and Hill both had 100 yards, didn't they?
Again, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Now that Tua back, I mean, it's the 3 of them. I mean, we just talked about chemistry a second ago. They have it, and the offense, everybody's getting the offense. So Miami, I mean, now they're back above 500. If those 3 are going to be on the field, Drew, then they have to be taken seriously about what they're able to do to your team.
You do have to say though, how different of a game this would have been if the Steelers would have actually caught those 3 picks that they let fall completely through their hands.
I mean, Tua going Tua.
Yeah, you can't play the what if game because Pickett did throw 3 picks and they still only lost by 6 points.
Yeah, I mean, an ugly game, but
so many teams are winning ugly this year.
Yeah,
nature of the beast. Bears beat the QB duo of the Patriots on Monday Night Football. Justin Fields, 179 9 yards, touchdown and a pick through the air, and 82 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Are they figuring out how to use this guy finally?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it just took this long. I think the more important question everybody's talking about from this game is Bailey Zappi came in,
Zappy
Mac Jones got benched. Uh,
still lost the game though.
they did. But we talked about this last week, did we not, Drew? We asked the question, do the Patriots have a QB situation on their hands?
Indeed, they
And
do.
Mac Jones, I mean, he goes out. Bailey Zappi comes in, immediate touchdown.
It's not fair though. They did put out Mac Jones and said to the world he's not 100%.
I mean, that has to be disingenuous at that point.
Yeah,
It has to be, because if he wasn't, then he wouldn't have started the game. If
that's
he
what
wasn't 100%.
I think it was Dominique on Get Up this morning. He was like, okay, so he was good to start the game, but not good enough to finish it. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
He's like, that
You
makes zero sense.
spin it the way you want, but if it keeps going this way, that should be one of the larger headlines going from into the offseason is about what they're going to do at quarterback and who gets the quarterback that they don't want.
I'm waiting to see all the Panthers come up with the get Bailey Zappi for quarterback.
Yeah.
We need to draft somebody. Shut up. All right, let's get into these housekeeping notes. Jets trade a conditional 6th-round pick to Jaguars for running back James Robinson. The conditional 6th-round pick becomes a 5th-round pick if Robinson gets 600 or more yards on the season. He's already at 340.
He got that. He got that with all the opportunity coming his way. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Colts bench Matt Ryan will start with Sam Ehlinger from here on out. I just hate that they're like for the rest of the season. Like, how about you see how a game goes first?
Yeah, they're benching Matt Ryan for the season now.
That's what they said.
Man, I hope you like eggs because it is all over your face right now.
You're in second place. What are you hitting the panic button
for? Matt Ryan is still the best quarterback on that roster. Curious to see what the young guy has.
They said they love him, and here's the kicker in practice.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, at this point, Drew, I think you're right. They're still in second place. There's still way too many games to be played for the season. Let's tap the brakes there a little bit. Let's tap the brakes. You know what I'm saying? Because go ahead. My fault.
I was trying to get my wording right here. I'm very curious as to why, because it also came out he's dealing with a shoulder injury. So I'm just intrigued as to why they're leaning into the he sucks, he's benched, and not into the hey guys, he hurt his shoulder. We're gonna see how he needs to heal, and then we'll reassess. Like, I just don't understand why they pulled in the whole bus and threw Matt Ryan underneath it.
Yeah, taking all the brunt of it, and that's why I think the egg is on their face because like if he was injured, then he shouldn't have been starting in the first place, and then it's a natural progression to Sam Ehlinger. But you're right, they are throwing him under the bus, and this can come crashing down on them if in 3 weeks it is very, very bad, and they have to go back to Matt Ryan, who should now be healed up after this injury that he just had. So, yeah. I mean,
is this all the frustration from all the past quarterback years? Is he getting the brunt from the Wentzes and the what's his name's Rivers?
It could be something going on. There's something going on there. I think maybe in the front office, or I don't know what it is, but it's just not. It ain't right in Indianapolis right now. It ain't right.
Get it, Frank. Right. Quarterback C.J. Jackson is done for the year with a ruptured patella tendon. That just sounds terrible.
Yeah.
And Mike Williams has a high ankle sprain out multiple weeks.
That dreaded.
Keenan Allen just came back. Didn't really do nothing.
Nope, he didn't.
And now Mike Williams is like, my turn.
That means because it's the Chargers, you would think that it means more losses when in fact it probably means wins. because they live in an upside down world.
They do.
So
If they had the whole team together, they'd be winning games right now. I mean, be losing a lot more games. Rams wide receiver Van Jefferson finally back at practice from his knee surgery in August. Officially removed from IR, so we'll see if he gets put in the game plan. Another weapon back for Mr. Stafford.
They need it. They need it.
Seahawks wide receiver DJ Metcalf is going to avoid surgery. He has a left knee injury, but he may miss a few games. He is week to week.
Hopefully that's not like just one of those reports where it's actually pretty bad and he probably should have surgery, or he's just going to play through the season. You know what I'm saying? Or if it was because that dude's too young and too talented to be out here doing that, man. So
yeah,
and
it also worried me that they said it could be a culmination of new and old injuries.
Yeah, so then just have the surgery at that point, just to go ahead and clean it up. Because I mean, I can understand him wanting to play where they're going. It's a good feel around them right now, but you might be doing yourself more damage to really contend when they get some more draft picks in there.
Exactly. Like you might make the playoffs, but you're not a contender this year. Like go ahead and get taken care of. Be ready.
And be ready. Yep. Be ready.
The Falcons dealing with some secondary woes. They already had a couple starters out, but their safety Hawkins has a concussion. He is in protocol. Already been ruled out against the Panthers, and cornerback Terrell is dealing with a hamstring injury. He is week to week.
All right.
Panthers gonna win another game. It's gonna break my heart.
I really think they're probably gonna lose this one though. I mean, I think based on what the Falcons did against the Bengals, I really think the Panthers are going to come crashing back down to earth.
Good.
In a bad way. In a bad way.
No, in a good way. In a great way. In a better pick. I've also come to the conclusion I don't know if I necessarily want the number one pick. I want like number 3.
Yeah.
Number 1 just comes with too much responsibility.
Too much. Yeah. Yep.
Give me number 3. Let the Lions, let the Texans jump up in front of us. We'll take number 3.
And then you'll probably wind up getting the best player. That's the best part about 2 and 3 and 4 is like you actually probably wind up getting the best player in the draft.
Let them take the overhyped quarterback.
Yep.
That's the only thing that worries me is those two teams will probably be looking for a quarterback, and we need a quarterback. But I think there are multiple good quarterbacks this year. It's not like you miss out on one and you're like, no.
Yeah. It definitely might be a tier this year, for sure.
Of course, Belichick is mum on who his starting quarterback will be next week. And
of course.
And right before coming on air, we found out that the Cowboys have traded for Raiders defensive tackle Jonathan Hankins, give up a 2023 6th-round pick for him.
Also we'll see if it pays dividends.
24 7th round in return.
Okay. Yeah.
So really for nothing.
Right. Right. No. Yeah.
Like you pay for it. All right, let's get into 3 and outs. My favorite segment. All right, Shawn, what you got? First down.
All right, Drew. I think you're gonna like this one. So on first down, what if the NFL changed the rules to the playoff seeding that require division winners to be 2 games above 500 or else you forego your spot? How do you think that would change the playoffs as we see it right now?
I think that would make it to where the NFC South might not have a delegate. No, I think that's fair, man. I completely think that's fair because I'm not going to lie to you, man. That year that the Panthers won the division at 7-8-1, I felt weird about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I felt a little weird about it.
You had the scarlet letter on.
Well, I felt like like the kids disrupting the school play, and you're the parent in the.
Yeah.
Like that's my kid. I'm sorry.
You can't go to no functions, no town functions no more.
So I'm good with that. If you can't win. If you can't be above 2 games above 500, you're gonna get murdered in the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it makes it interesting because you would forego your spot to a better team. Yeah, and now that better team
that makes the playoffs even more elevated.
Exactly. So best team should be in there. That's the way we feel.
I like it, man. I would love for them to get to where it's just the best 16 teams all together.
Yeah,
Because
just
sometimes those AFC, NFC championship games end up being way better than the Super Bowl.
yeah,
I
yeah.
hate that.
And just fire it off, man. 16
Yeah.
best teams,
I wish the NBA
round
would do
robin.
that too.
Yeah, just full on Wild West shootout. I love it.
Yeah, I'm
I
loving
love
what
it.
MLB's doing. They expanded their playoffs, and now they got more wild card teams. So and that made for way more interesting playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like it did go fast this year, but
So
whatever.
well,
Phillies in it.
I like how first round. Yeah, yeah, whatever,
Second
whatever. Bryce Harper sucks. All right, second down.
down.
With all the QB ups and downs this year, Shawn, do you think we're getting closer to teams doing a 2 QB system?
I would probably have to say no, only because when you get a guy, he's really good, and you
But
don't want to take him out.
but could it work for some teams?
I
Look at
think
the
it could
Raiders
work.
last year with Mariota and Carr.
I think it could work. I just don't know how sustainable it would be. You know what I mean? Like the Wildcat was hot for that year, and
So
it
I
was
hated
running
it
all
so
over
much.
everybody,
I still hate
and
it.
then it just wasn't. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So maybe you could probably sneak by with a year, but you better have a plan in place for the next couple of years. Hopefully, you see one of those two QBs elevate because that is it's diminishing returns, is what it is.
yeah. I think we might see way more Taysom Hill, Andy Dalton kind of things.
Yeah, Taysom Hill he's been a positive player. Damn, alliteration on
Yeah.
that one. But
But I mean, I
when
think I could see that, if you got a 2 QB system, but one quarterback can also do other things.
right, right. Yeah, and I would be fine with that. And I think you could get away with it, especially weeks against weaker teams, you know?
Yeah.
So
Like I'm just saying that, you got your game manager and then you got your flashy player. You get the best of both worlds. Like you got your
I
flashy
don't
guy to
know.
come make a play for you when you really need it.
Just give me one who does everything, you know?
They don't
I
exist anymore.
I it's just, I need to find that diamond. I
They
need that
don't
diamond.
exist anymore.
Diamond. It's the one. It's like the one time where a traditional marriage actually works. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like it's
Yeah.
like it's so crazy these days. Even those, it's kind of like real life because they usually end up in divorce anyway.
I know. I want to go back a few years and pull Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady and Matt Ryan into the huddle and be like, fellas, you might not believe me,
Right,
but
right.
2022 is going to be rough. Don't come back.
No, all three of those dudes will probably fight you, and they don't look like fighters.
Right?
You know.
I feel like Matt Ryan will do like the giraffe thing to you, the little pow, because he got that long neck.
Yeah.
All
All
right, what
right.
you
So
got
where
on
we at?
third
We
down?
on third. All
Yeah.
right, Drew. This is a straightforward question right here. Drew, who would you rather have as your quarterback right now? Matt Ryan or Jared Goff?
Oh, well, I feel like we're a year away from the Panthers kicking the tires on Jared Goff anyway. So,
If recent history suggests,
right,
yes.
if Matt Rule is
Yeah.
still in charge next year, that we'd have a QB competition between Bailey Zappi and Jared Goff as the 23 Panthers starting quarterback. But I guess with the man, that's tough because they both come
Yeah.
with their cons. I don't want Matt Ryan's turnovers. So for that, he is eliminated. So I'd take Jared Goff just because he might not do it for you, but he protects the ball a little bit better.
Right. Yeah. Marginally.
Yeah.
Marginally
I
better.
need him just hand the ball off to Deontay Foreman anyway. So who cares?
That's true. I guess it just has Deontay Foreman done enough to solidify his role in the next year and be a starter.
If we don't come back with Hubbard and Foreman as a 2-back system, I'm going to be very upset. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not projecting it, but I personally, as a fan, want to see him get a full year with a capable quarterback, even if that's a rookie, a capable
Yeah,
quarterback.
yeah,
Because I
I'm
think
with
those
that.
two can be dynamite. I think out of all of our problems, put a little check by running back. We're okay.
Fair. That's
Maybe add
fair.
a guy to come in and camp and compete with them, but we don't need to draft anybody or do anything flashy in free agency. Just
Yeah. When you can utilize those picks to
yeah,
supplement the roster elsewhere, you
yeah.
know?
And I mean, I don't want to go back to a star running back. We need some time to not have that. Let's do the running back by
Yeah.
committee thing for a couple years, see how it
Yeah.
goes.
It usually ends up well. You just find a guy. And it's like, oh,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
okay, here we
I'll
go.
take it. Seemed because even though I know a lot of it on Saturday, not to kick you while you're down, a lot of it was the Bucks playing badly, but I do feel like there was a weight collectively off the shoulders of the Panthers that they didn't have to get it to one guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was nice. They
Able to
looked like
spread
they
it
played
around.
freer.
Yeah. I could definitely see that.
Trimble caught a touchdown. Come on now. Like what?
Bucks, you let Trimble catch a touchdown.
Yeah, you did. You did. All right, fourth down, Shawn, with top names like Gesicki and Robert Quinn and Kareem Hunt on the trade block and with rumors all a buzz. Tell me a player you definitely see getting traded before the deadline.
Ooh, good question. Good question. I think the man, like you said Gasicki and maybe that's because I want him so bad. Like I and it
That's fair.
we really need a blocking tight end. We really
Yeah.
need a blocking tight end, but we need a more consistent weapon. I would love to see Gasicki come to Tampa. But we really need somebody who's going to block and catch.
And you about to have to
And
pay him.
Gronk ain't coming back. And Gronk ain't
Yeah.
coming back. I'm sorry to tell
Gesicki
you, he's
looking
not
for that
coming back.
payday.
He is, and I think we can do it next year. You know what I'm saying? But who was a couple? You said Kareem Hunt's on the trade block. Who else you had up there?
Robert Quinn.
Uh, I feel like Quinn is actually probably the answer because I feel like he'd be easier to trade, being an older veteran guy. Splashy name. I would I would love to see Kareem Hunt be traded to anybody who
What
could
if he
use it.
what if he went to Baltimore?
Oof. Ooh. I mean,
Because he
damn,
seems
do
like
they
that
want to
dude
do
that
that with
wants to
Jake?
be mad, like
What?
angry against everybody.
Nah, he would fit well there. He would fit extremely well. But the problem would be what does that mean for JK though? Because and then realistically speaking, I know we pipe dreaming right now, but like Hunt already doesn't want to go to a running back by committee.
That's
So he would
fair.
be
And that would be a
running back
commit.
by
Yeah,
running
you're
back
right.
by
You're
running
right.
back by committee.
I can't think of a team that would take him and drop everybody else up. Because I feel like the
Yeah.
league as a whole is like, we're running out 3-4 guys. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. I really can't. Maybe the Patriots would actually commit to him like that. I think the
Yeah.
Dolphins would actually commit to him like that.
I think they're
Um,
loving Mostert, but it's only matter of time before he gets hurt.
right, right, or they just decide they can get a better option. I feel like because I feel like that's
Yeah.
been why Raheem Mostert, who was a good running back, has went through so many damn teams in a couple of years.
I would love to see him go to the Chargers and then they put Eckler in the slot more.
Yeah. I mean, and that would probably help Eckler not get injured. But we saw what you were talking about that with a different running back who is now
Yeah,
in
and they
San
still wouldn't
Francisco.
do it.
Nope, nope. So I don't think that's going to be the trend anytime soon.
I finally get
But
this offensive coordinator job and I use my tiny little running back in the slot more. It's going to be a trend in the league. I'm just saying.
might be that innovator.
Yeah.
Get you that lifetime paycheck.
Yeah. But yeah, Kareem Hunt could help a team out for sure, especially in a year you either have a running game or you don't. There's no in between ground, it seems like.
Buffalo would work. They would drop all their running backs for Kareem Hunt. That would work.
Let's not put that into existence. That's scary.
Yeah,
that is scary to think about.
Yeah, yeah. I just saw Buffalo and was like, damn.
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, that is. Oh, no, don't say it. Don't tell it. All right, you got any shout outs this week? So
I do, man. I do. This is more of an ode to the ass kicking that happened on Sunday, but I want to say shout out to the bad teams. Right? Shout out to the bad teams because the ugly teams are still pros. And these good teams are playing down. And when you play down, you ugly up the game. Drew mentioned it earlier with that Bane quote. Like, this is where these teams thrive. So if you play down to them, this is where they want to be. Like, not scoring a whole bunch of points. You are right in their wheelhouse. They are comfortable. They are confident. and you get your ass whooped in the end because you are like you think you're a good team. And I just want to say shout out to these teams because if you're a good team and you're middling, you're not doing what you need to do, you probably don't stand a chance on Sundays if you're looking past these teams. So shout out to the bad teams who are still getting these dubs. Everybody thought the Giants were a bad team. They
They're really
ugly up
looking
some
like a.
they,
They're really
they
looking like a
ugly up
good
some
team, man.
games and they're 6-1.
Yeah,
So good
Jets
on
five and
them.
two.
Yep. And I mean, that's the reason why these teams are here is why it's going to be a race for who's getting the first pick of the draft. Because there's a lot of teams with 2 wins right now who will rock your world. And I think the Saints are probably going to be another one because they're good enough just to beat you. Like they still have a defense. You know what I'm saying? Like
Still
these are the
putting up
teams.
points. Still putting
The,
up a
the,
lot of
rec-
points.
the record does not show, but they will beat you if you
Yeah,
play down. So get your game up. That's all I'm saying. Get your game up.
before you get beat by a bad team.
Exactly, Bucks. Shout out to Taylor Heineke. Shout out to Taylor Heineke, man. Me and Drew talked about it. Drew got on the maroon for the
That's my
boys.
dude.
I mean, we talked about it last week. He comes in, immediate boost of morale to the team, getting the
Because it
ball
should
to the
have been
receiver.
his job all along, in
And
his
and
eyes at least.
right. And now they're 3-4, clawing their way back, but they clawed their way back when he was in there the first time back in 2020. You
If they
know,
go on a little
so
run, it's gonna make it real interesting.
very. And then I feel like they'll do the same thing to his ass next year, Drew.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna have to because they're gonna have a unfortunate, probably a new coaching regime in there, so they
Yeah.
might be right there with us drafting a guy next year. But then they got
Yeah.
Sam Howell. Got to kick the tires on my man.
Yeah. I will say, and shout out Andrew Adams, safety for the Tennessee Titans with a pick six. He was a Bucks practice squad, not practice squad, practice squad, not practice squad. He was the
Poor
guy,
guy
Drew.
kept getting dropped, picked up, dropped, picked up.
Drew, you probably remember him. He was the guy who picked off Cam Newton 3 times in that one game. Do you remember that game?
I
That was
remember. I remember a practice squad player picking him off 3 times.
Thank you. That was
I didn't know
Andrew
his name.
Adams.
I didn't know his
Yep, that
name.
was Andrew Adams. Still doing like he's a guy who was he's a ball hawk guy. Comes in. I don't know if he was on a practice squad or what kind of rotation he was in, but this guy deserves to be in the league. He makes plays.
Yeah.
I mean,
how many guys don't have that have been in the league for a hot minute that don't have 4 picks?
And like he doesn't have elite anything, but there's something about him that he can come in and do some and make some positive plays. So shout to Andrew Adams, man. Good to see you.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, man. Glad to see he's not with the Bucks. All right, let's get into these matchups of the week.
Let's do it, man.
My first matchup, I got San Francisco 49ers at the Los Angeles Rams because the NFC West is still up for grabs.
It is.
So
this is the game right here, isn't it?
Well, I mean, can we put the Seahawks in the driver's seat right now?
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, it's a 4-team race there, it feels like.
Yeah, because it's a 3-4 49ers versus the 3-3 Rams. Rams coming off a bye, but was the bye too early? Are these guys going to get hurt all over again?
Yeah.
Is OBJ going to come back? What is going to happen for the Rams in the second half of the season? Because they're still the defending champs, but
they are.
Are they even going to make the playoffs?
I think, and at this point, we talked about it being a 4-team race, and this is a good one, unlike the 4-team race that is the NFC South.
In the opposite way.
It's opposite way, exactly. I think this is the game, but Drew, you made a great point about bringing the Seahawks in it. They look like the team that's the most consistent right now, whatever that means. Yeah, whatever that means. I feel like San Fran, well, maybe not now that D-Hop is back because they got him heavily involved with Arizona. So maybe San Fran, I think, could have the best passing game, but maybe I'm just thinking about the offensive play caller. But that was a tough loss that they just took. I want to see, now they come to this divisional rival, and this is a San Fran team who has gotten the better of the Rams a lot recently. So I want to see if that continues. I feel like this is hitting at the right time for a lot of reasons because whoever wins this game puts themselves in the driver's seat, has that much more confidence about winning the damn division. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
You said it best. I'll put it right here. If either team wants to go on a run, this would be a great starting spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, what you got for
Absolutely.
your first matchup of the week?
My first matchup talking about this NFC West, it is involving one of their teams. It is the Seattle Seahawks at home
There we go.
against the New York Giants. And
Oh,
right now, this is a battle of a first place team and a second place team. But damn, I mean, 6-1, you would think that them boys in first place, but shout to them Eagles. Drew, I think that it is better. It's better. And I doubted the Giants last week. I think I went 1-1 because I had the Jaguars beating them, right?
no,
But
you went 2-0 last
did
week.
I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. We'll
You
talk
had
about it. We're gonna
yeah,
talk
we'll talk
about it.
about it in just a second.
Yeah, yeah, I got a gloat on that then. I thought I went 1-1.
No, you went
Uh
2-0.
but
We
nah,
went
man.
we
I
went
mean,
collectively 4-0 last week.
damn, good week.
Yep.
But nah, with this Seattle team, man, I'm glad that they're at home because I feel like if they went on the road, this would be a Giants that we talked about winning ugly. If they're at home, they're in the mud. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's where they want to be. So the 12s should definitely come out. This is a team who should want to push it. This, I mean, these are two darling teams right now.
Well,
Whoever loses might have a little bit of stink off on them. You know what I mean?
fair enough. But also, week 8 in the NFL season, and the Seahawks and Giants matchup is the only matchup featuring two above 500 teams.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But
Yeah.
I want to see if Gino can
Shout out to
continue this.
Laura. Shout out to Laura Harrison for finding that stat for us.
Oh, nice. Uh, Kenneth Walker, though, I want to see if he is able to continue the
Against
success
a better defense.
against a better defense. Giants largely keeping teams. Talking about that defense, largely keeping teams without a lot of points. Number 6 in the league, top 15 as far as passing, but do give up more on the ground. So this does bode well for the Seahawks. So maybe running the ball. And I mean, the Seahawks also their defense, as far as their defense is concerned, they can be had. So does that mean the Giants are going to have to pass the ball? Are they going to be able to right? Are they going to be able to rush?
What wide receivers are they down to?
Man, just stick and tape and bubble gum, at the wide receiver position.
Did Kenny Galladay quit? Did he retire?
I mean, they retired for him. That's probably going to be the dude that gets moved, honestly. But does any team?
But can he do anything?
I
mean, what are you giving up for him? I'd give a 6th-round pick for him.
6th or 7th. That's.
I mean, I don't want him to come to Carolina, but
yeah. And if I'm 30, 31 other teams, I'm like, we might take you, but take a pay cut as well as taking a 6th or 7th round pick.
Yeah.
So, but what I will say is the Seahawk defense is largely like they prey on takeaways. So if they can get Rattle Daniel Jones, get them some takeaways, I think that definitely bodes well. Which means the 12s are definitely going to be up in the air. So, So I'm curious to see how this game goes and who comes out of it on top, man, is the best question. Real strong coming out of it.
Very much so. All right, well, we might as well close up the NFC West. My second matchup of the week, Arizona Cardinals at Minnesota Vikings.
Good game.
It's a great NFC matchup,
Yeah.
Vikings coming off they had their bye last week, right? So
yeah,
got the 3-4 Cardinals versus the 5-1 Vikings. Cardinals got to win this game. Can't go 3-5, especially whoever wins the 49ers Rams game. The Seahawks can beat the Giants.
Yeah.
It keeps pushing them further down a loaded division.
Yeah. And they're a team they're trending up. Their defense getting two pick sixes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And D-Hop coming back and getting involved. This is a team who, one, needs to win this game, but two, Drew, I think you couldn't have said it better. 3-5 is just not where you want to be. It ain't where you want to be.
And on the flip side, the Vikings have to be looking at this game as another way to get another game up on the Packers, because you got to think Buffalo's going to keep looking like Buffalo, and the Packers are going to keep looking like the Packers, and Buffalo's going to get the win. So you got to think 6-1 sitting against. I guess the Packers will be 3-5 at that point too. That's
Yeah,
a 3.5 game lead.
it is, man, and that's almost too much to be able to top. Like you can't surmount that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's too large, especially if you're trying to if the team that you're chasing is one of the best teams in the league. That 3 game league will turn into 6
they're
easy.
doing what the
You know?
Packers did to them for years,
Yeah,
stepping on the throat early.
yeah, and that's what you should do.
Yeah,
God, where's the fight in these teams, man? Like
yeah.
just
You
knowing
see it in
exactly where you're
Minnesota,
at.
you see it in Philadelphia, you see it in Buffalo, Kansas City, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
put it to bed and then rest. You can get a mid. You can if you do what you need to do, you can get a mid-season break. What
Yeah,
about that?
you can rest Calvin, or I put his two names together. Dalvin, I've said Calvin, Dalvin Cook. You can you can rest Dalvin
Calvin
Cook.
Johnson still need a rest. He still need to rest for his
He's coming
usage.
back. Uh
Yeah,
no, you can rest Dalvin Cook, so he's going into the playoffs healthy. That would be a dream if they could take weeks
yeah,
16, 17, 18 off because they
yeah.
already
I don't.
clinched what, the 2 seed in the NFC.
Yeah, I don't want to see a healthy Dalvin Cook running at me. Me trying to chase him when my body is broken down and tired in January and his is fresh.
Right. And he's like,
Yeah,
"What's
nah, I
up?"
don't want to do that. He
All
gonna
right,
have
what
me
you
on a
got
highlight reel.
for your second matchup of the week?
Second matchup. It's the matchup in Lucas Oil Stadium, man. It's the Indianapolis Colts coming off that loss, some would say inexcusable, to the resurgent Taylor Heineke Washington football team. And
Heineke.
I'm curious about this team because Drew, you put it best. You said earlier that the after the loss, AFC South is still up for grabs. The boys are
Yeah.
in second place,
Titans ain't running away with it.
making this change with Sam Erlinger. And I think what if the Colts are really just trying to get some of that backup QB magic by putting in by putting in Sam Erlinger to negate the backup quarterback magic from Taylor Heineke, and that way it's a wash. So they're trying to level the playing field. I see what you're doing. I
Okay.
see
All
what you're
right.
doing.
Until
You
Sam
know,
throws 3 picks.
which he could with this defense playing at the way they are. Brian Robinson continuing to prove why he should be the lead back at this point. I do like that they're getting Gibson involved a lot more though. So that's a real tandem there. Everything seems to be working right for the Washington football team at this point. I mean, it's just been 1 week, so let's pump the brakes a little bit. But this is what you want to see because Taylor Heineke, who's been in the offense for more than one offseason, has gotten the ball to these receivers. Jahan Dotson's still out, but now elevating Terry McLaurin. He's a guy who can do it by himself. We've seen him do it for years. So I want to know what I mean, you got to get Taylor more involved if you're the Colts. You have to. 10 attempts, 5.8 yards a carry. I mean, that's not it. You know what you've seen what he can do when you feed him the ball 20 times. Michael Pittman, we've said this every week. He has to get more involved. But I have to ask the question though. Instead of continuously asking the question about Michael Pittman, maybe we just got to put that on the quarterback at this point. Like he can only do
What's thrown to him?
it, right what's thrown to him. The quarterback's throwing, making bad throws or not giving him enough time to get open, considering the type of receiver he is, then that's not on him. Or
Fair
maybe
enough.
it's on the offense. Maybe it's on the offense. So maybe we need to kind of change the question around there. As far as the defense is concerned, I fully expect Washington to take advantage of this matchup right now on paper. With a fresh quarterback coming in who doesn't have a lot of playing time, and to use that to their advantage. So I'm curious to see what Ron has cooked up for these boys. And Colts, it's good that they're home starting Sam Erlinger. Put it that way. So that's what I'm curious to see about Drew. What you think about this matchup, right?
I'm excited to see it because I guess I'm being a little protective of Matt Ryan. I want to see Ellinger, and plus he's a Texas Longhorn, so I don't care about him. I want to see him fall flat on his face. To be honest with you,
Right.
I don't appreciate how they treated this aging great quarterback
That was
who
kind of dirty.
really
It's kind of
wasn't
dirty.
the complete problem.
Yeah.
So I am very, and plus I kind of want to see Heineke get another dub. So bring on the Commanders. I fully hope they beat the Colts.
So more mystique for Heineke and more turmoil for the Indianapolis Colts. Like
Yeah,
you,
I'm
yeah,
nom, 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 nom. Drama. Give it to me.
eating it up, eating it
Yeah.
up. Yeah, yeah. I like
All
it.
right, let's get into these locks. Like I said,
Let's do it, man.
we both went 2-0 last week. I picked the Jets to beat the Broncos and the Browns to lose to the Ravens. You picked the Raiders to beat the Texans and the Saints to lose to the Cardinals. So we were all correct.
Yeah,
So I'm sitting
yeah.
at 6-8. I'm trying to climb my way back
You
up.
clawing your way back up there, man.
Mr. 9-5 over here, doing
Hey,
just
doing the
fine.
damn thing, doing
Yeah.
the damn thing.
So
Driver's seat.
where are we going? What are we starting with?
Listen, I think we're gonna go with the win because I think we may potentially have a lock off here. So we're going with the win first. Drew, my winner is the New England Patriots over the New York Jets. I think old division rivalries kind of come home to roost,
Ooh.
and Belichick getting that little sauce back in, figuring out these coaching things. Like, damn, hey, Matt struggling, pull his ass. Let's win this game, and that's what he did.
Okay.
So I got the Patriots figuring this thing out midway through the season, getting these coaching things right over the New York Jets and the young AFC East coach and Robert Saleh.
I got the Jets beating the Patriots.
There it
There we
is.
go.
There it is.
Jets are feeling themselves right now. I think Robinson can come in and Carter, that run game can. I know Halls cannot be replaced. It's going to be a huge blow. But like we said earlier, maybe it makes these wide receivers figure some things out. I still like the Jets defense. I'm banking on the QB turmoil to be what does the Patriots in. Because
You
if
know
you
what I'm
don't
banking
like,
on?
so
I'm go
I'm
ahead.
banking on them starting Mac Jones again. Then Zappy comes in, and you can't sustain that. I don't know.
Right, right. Nah, so what I'm banking on is it looks like the New England defense is coming alive, man. Like
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
coming alive. So with Zach Wilson managing and not really being, that guy to take them over the top, even in the win last week, he didn't really do a whole bunch. So I'm banking on that defense rattling him, get in his head, making him see ghosts, a la Sam Darnold, like he was when he was in New York, and maybe getting it done, man. Maybe getting it done. So we'll
Okay.
see. So
All right.
somebody gaining or
Somebody,
losing a
yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah. I
We're getting
need it.
closer either way of this
All
game
right.
right here.
All right.
All right,
What's your other lock this week?
Drew. I think my loss should be pretty obvious because this team is a horrible fucking team. And it's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers
Oh,
losing at home on Thursday to the Baltimore Ravens. Yes, I picked these Bucks to lose because they stink.
they
Everything is wrong in Tampa Bay.
stink.
Everything is wrong there, and I don't think that they're going to get it right on the short week.
Okay.
I just don't think that they can do it. There's the defense is just in shambles. Antoine Winfield Jr. is not going to play. He's concussed. We may get Akeem Hicks back, which may help, but like I know the defense can keep it maybe close. Hopefully Carlton Davis plays, but what is the offense going to do? What is the offense going to do? Byron Leftwich is inept. He is a horrible offensive coordinator. I don't know what was happening between the last 2
Oh,
years and
that
this year,
that glitter's
but
gone, huh?
Bruce Arians must have just took his playbook with him because Byron is not. I don't know what's going on there. I wouldn't be surprised if they fire Byron or at least remove him. I just don't know where else you go from that. Like
That's fair.
how do you remove Byron from calling plays if you're the offensive coordinator?
Yeah. My
Where do
man
you
was
put
in
him?
line to get a head coaching job,
That's
it
what I'm
seemed
saying.
like.
Like where do you put him? That's not like bad optics,
Yeah.
right? So you got to
Yeah.
let him go. You got to let him go. So Bucks losing to the Ravens, Lamar Jackson running all over us boys, and getting wide receivers involved probably too because we can't stop anything.
All right. I got the another team with QB drama. I got the Steelers losing to the Eagles in battle for Pennsylvania.
If I go 2-0 this week, it's over for you because Drew out here trying to damn get them games back now. He trying,
I
he trying,
got
he
to
trying to get games back. He trying to make this thing so we right
watch.
tied, just like
Watch.
we
I'm
are
gonna
going to
miss
the
that
last
one.
episode of the
Watch.
season.
Watch. I'm gonna miss that one just because we said it. Stewart Pickett's gonna have the game of my man's life. Give the Eagles a loss.
Yeah,
Because that's just the way my season's been going. So
true.
just because it seems like a layup, we all have learned anything from this NFL season. You know how long it took me staring at that one to convince myself that was an easy pick?
It's like one of those things where like you lay it up and it's right there, but it still rolls off the edge, like it don't even make the top of the rim. You know,
right.
Easy.
Like I was wide open.
Yeah.
All right, real quick before we get out of here, Shawn, Bleacher Report released their top 100 draft big board for 2023 today, and you got 3 quarterbacks in the top 11. Number 1, Will Anderson Jr., the edge from Alabama. Jalen Carter, the defensive lineman from Georgia, at 2. Miles Murphy, the edge for Clemson, at 3. Robinson, the running back for Texas, at 4. Got a running back to watch out for again this next year.
Texas running back at that.
Yeah, and then Mayer, the tight end for Notre Dame, at 5. So we got another Kyle Pitts situation. CJ Stroud checks in at 7. Bryce Young at 10. And then Will Levis at a number 11 for Kentucky. So
yeah. And some people think Levis might be the best out of the bunch. So
I might be one of those people.
More drama coming down the
pipe.
But
he looks injury prone. I don't. What worries? He looks like he's one of those types of dudes that goes out there and plays balls to the walls and comes back with broken fingers and ankle sprains, and so
that should just be a lesson for you to get the offensive line right if you're going to draft a quarterback like that. I mean, I know you got to surround the quarterback with weapons, but you need to protect the quarterback first and foremost. Some might say that the Bengals would have a championship if they could do that.
Another note to keep an eye on is those 3 quarterbacks are in the top 11. Not another cornerback until 34 with Richardson at Florida.
Not another quarterback. Yeah.
It might be a big drop off from after those first 3 in the draft this year.
Well, they said that about Lamar Jackson too.
Same. Yeah, you're right.
We'll see what happens.
And there's only 31 picks in the first round this
year. And I'm actually excited because Tom Brady's on his way out. Like there's
y'all could draft a quarterback.
I need to be scouting them. So I like scouting quarterbacks. Let the tape speak for itself.
Yeah,
I don't care.
And I'm excited because you're excited about the quarterback. So then that information trickles down this year. So I, in turn, will get the quarterback info. So I'm excited
about who y'all gonna pick.
All right, Shawn, where can they find you?
At the Kid Suds on Twitter, Drew, and of course at nickel_Dom FB on Twitter as well, at the illustrious nickel_Dom football on Instagram. Drew, where can they find your almost at 10,000 views? I need you to click like and subscribe. Make sure you leave a comment. Drew, where can they find your comment?
It hit 10K right before we came on the air.
So
we're at 10K. So check out the special on this YouTube channel. Like, share it, subscribe. Share it with your friends. Just put it on and walk away. Put it on in the background.
If we hit 10, let's do 12. Let's do 12 now.
Let's do 12. But no, stay locked in. We got a lot more football for you. So we will see you next week.